Oh, this is going to be a good one. For starters, Messi did have permission. Now, here's where we can start gaining some clarity on the whole issue. This was something that was already planned. Not once, not twice, but three times. This whole trip to Saudi Arabia. When you start to look at it a bit more, it's more than just a player not showing up to practice. A an act of disobedience or a mutiny against Christophe Galtier. The first two times that this Saudi trip was planned, well, he backed out because the team lost. Now, this is not a defensive message. This is basically the facts. This is what happened. Now, all this information that RMC and Radio Monaco and all these other outlets that have reported this story, this was a leak. Yes, this was a leak by PSG that was made. It's posturing, ladies and gentlemen. It is posturing what is going on here between PSG and Leo Messi. There's no way. I mean, at this point, now, if you would have said that this was going to happen 3 months ago, 4 months ago, 4.5, 5 months ago, nah, you'd be crazy. But this is what happens when a player wants to see more, and the administration can't show them anything else. They can't show how this magnificent project or this wonderful project that they wanted to establish is going to play out. Who are going to be the players that come in, or is it PSG's in a situation because of FFP that they really can't extend themselves too much, and they weren't looking to extend themselves too much, and there weren't any names of note that were being looked at as possible reinforcements. So when you start looking at a team and you're 35, 36 years of age, that they start saying, hey, by the way, we might start looking at youngsters to bring in as reinforcements, you're not too confident 100%. Now, the rhetoric has changed, ladies and gentlemen, from the time that November and December in Qatar during the World Cup, where Al Khalifi and company were talking to Jorge Messi and Leo. At times they're chiming in and saying, hey, this is the project. We have a grandiose project that we're looking to continue and maybe evolve and have you involved in it in one way or another. But as time went on, he's like, well, show me that project. So show me said project. Well, we're going to show you. It's a great project. And they never really did. They haven't. And they were going to pay him less money after coming from a World Cup where he was the best player in the tournament, that his stock went up, as a matter of fact. Crazy to say that, but it is true. And on top of that, you look at the overall performances of him before January, February, and he was still amongst the leading goal scorers. He was still amongst the assists, and if you had that combination, he's pretty much at the top of that list. But it was PSG that, in their anger, you don't say no to Nasser Al-Khelaifi. And you don't say no the way that Messi has so far. That is the issue. That is the fact. Look at how they've treated Neymar. Look at how things have gone. That's what they're looking at right now. And of course, the most logical of all explanations is that right now, he wants to go back to Barca. And I can understand that. Now, all the complications and everything else that is going on, as far as financial fair play with Barcelona, well, that could be something that can be resolved. Mind you, they still have until June 30th. There's still 59 more days to be able to solve this issue. It's not something that needs to be solved tomorrow. No. I think the urgency is being made by media in general. Oh my God, this didn't happen today. Oh, this didn't happen tomorrow. That's what they're looking to do to create urgency. And that's where all of this is going. Keep that in mind. Because one day it's one thing, another day it's another day it's another, and it needs to be sold that way because sense and sensibility and common sense are not things that sell in newspapers, in online outlets, on social media. It doesn't sell. Now, am I saying that he's going to Al Hilal, or he's going to Barcelona, or he's going to Inter Miami, or he's going to Newell's? No, I'm not. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, think a little bit more when all these things are going on. Think about those different particular situations, and then things will start making a bit more sense when it all comes down to it. PSG's posturing. It's kind of like, oh, no, I didn't quit, I resigned kind of thing. Well, that's basically what PSG is doing. No, no, Messi did not sign with us. We're just not interested in him anymore. That's the posturing the PSG is doing right now with this suspension. They're using him as an example, and you use Leo Messi as an example that way. You're done. It's done. He doesn't want to play there anymore. Putting him out the way that he has been. When you've seen Sergio Ramos be over in Seville a few days ago, Neymar going and doing his thing as well, Mbappe also doing his commercial obligations as well. They're all within the right. It's not that they're doing anything wrong. It's just that they have to have one player as an example. And the primary one is the one that they've been trying to sign that, well, it doesn't look like he's going to stay anyway, so might as well make an example of him and kind of, well, let him go. Now, if you included the 2 weeks that he's going to be suspended, he has 5 matches left. Now he has 3. Okay, perfect. You know what that does? It helps Barcelona out. Okay, fine, I'm leaving. I'm going to Barcelona for 2 weeks. Bye. And you have his father, you have his whole team. He has direct talks with Xavi Hernandez. Maybe, just maybe, you see him this weekend at Camp Nou. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but do not be surprised one bit. Or not this week. Well, yeah, the next home match for Barcelona, I should say. Don't be surprised if he's there. Do not be surprised if he's not there. Or he's in the vicinity, or you hear fans clamoring for him. Keep in mind, now, I have to also switch and look at different positions, because what some people do in terms of reporting this entire story is that they only tell you what they've heard from 1 or 2 people. Now, you have to go and start looking at different positions and different postures to understand this whole situation. It's never been easy. It's never been a simple solution. It's been quite complex for some, more than others. For example, people have reported that Inter Miami gave him an offer. Leo Messi's dad denied it. Leo Messi's entourage just denied it throughout. There is no official offer. As a matter of fact, Inter Miami are still setting up a deal alongside MLS. We're working hard every day. Don Garber said that this past weekend. We're working hard right now. So, wait, you're working hard right now? I thought you had given him an offer 6-7 months ago. Oh, there is no offer. There is no official offer. We know that there's certain things that they're going to offer, but there is no official offer as of yet. Am I downplaying that? No. Like I've said before, that move might happen next year. Not just right now. When it comes to Barcelona, there's a lot of political chips that need to be entangled and intertwined alongside a lot of economic issues that they do have as well. We know the 200 million that Barcelona have to cut in order to be able to reach and satisfy certain requirements of financial fair play. Now, that's where things such as salaries and transfers and things of that nature end up becoming vital. And not only that, if Barcelona, let's say they do have an agreement with Leo Messi, it's easy for sponsors to get on board. And you start saying, hey, by the way, we have this type of player. We have Messi back. You can be our sponsor again. And mind you, Barcelona's having a North American tour come this summer. So imagine having Messi on board for that tour this summer. Now, is it going to happen? I don't know. It's very possible. It's very probable. But we have to see how that ends up playing out. Now, the political end. Gian Laporta knows that his legacy is at stake right now. So he has to be very careful how he moves, how he treads forward. Matteo Limani announced on today, of course, today meaning the day that this podcast was recorded. He announced he's leaving on June 30th. So he's going to be working alongside everyone to make, well, not just the Messi deal happen, but a lot of other deals and a lot of other number crunching that needs to be made in order for them to be able to sign players such as Gavi, to have other defenders come in. You have a lot of options that are necessary in order to reinforce this squad. Ronald Araujo being one of them. That, you know, the possibility of him leaving is quite evident right now, especially if they don't, you know, renew his contract. There's a lot of takers out in the market right now for him. But not only is it that, Joan Laporta's legacy right now is in a very peculiar place. Why do I say that? Because his legacy right now, yes, they're just 1 point away from winning the league title. But nobody really cares. Keep in mind where La Liga is as a whole right now. Yeah, Real Madrid could win the Champions League, but that doesn't really give a lot more glamour to La Liga, to be quite honest with you. Well, them winning it last year didn't give La Liga a lot of glamour either. So with that in mind, we end up seeing a very interesting situation, dynamic developing, because it's now about the legacy of Joan Laporta. Laporta now, regardless if he wins the league title, the other things that have happened that haven't really gone his way end up weighing on him a great deal. And the number one thing that is going to weigh on him a big deal is being the president that let Leo go. Not only that, he also ends up being the president that let Leo go and couldn't bring him back when he had the opportunity to do so. Keep in mind, Joan Laporta is a political animal. He lives and breathes politics both in Catalonia as well as within Football Club Barcelona. That is the way he's always been. That is the way he has functioned for, God, I think more than 25 years. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of dynamics here. But again, Leo Messi was made an example of today. Leo Messi was made an example of. PSG leaked the information to media. They weren't happy that he went to Saudi. They weren't happy that he went to Saudi. Because for them, that's not something that Qatar is really fond of, to be quite honest, but it is one of his obligations. They also know that Saudi has a lot to do with what they had to do in the World Cup from a financial and logistical standpoint. They know that they have to work alongside Saudi. There's a lot of other dynamics that I'm not probably the best person to talk about. I'll probably have to bring somebody in to talk a little bit more about that dynamic from a sports and from a political standpoint. That would probably be the best thing I could do. So I'll just leave it at that point with that particular argument. But there is a lot that needs to be done in order for, well, people to understand a little bit more why there's so much anger or there was so much. But it's also passing of the buck there, because Nasser Al-Khelaifi says one thing, Luis Campos, who's a sporting director of PSG, says another, Christophe Galtier says another, and then Messi's like, oh wait, why didn't anyone tell me? As of earlier today, he was never informed that that was going to be the thing that happens. So, where are we at? Where are we at, ladies and gentlemen? This is where you see, it's part of when you start looking at the failures of PSG and what they've been able to do or not do. Look at it from that perspective. You have so many voices saying so many different things. Where do we start? Where do we believe? Where do we start? Actually, is it true? You know, I think is there more than meets the eye? It looks like it. It seems like it, or at least you begin to believe that it's such a case. I don't know. Tell me. You tell me. Because it seems like there's a lot of other little tiny things, little inklings of things that are going on. And I've already discussed um, a lot of them. I've discussed several factors. Now, there might be many more. There might be a lot more. And that's going to be the scary part. When you start to find out when Messi goes and stays, what happens and how this will come out and how this will start developing. This will be one very, very interesting thing. But if we have one thing for sure, one thing is for sure. PSG, no matter how much money, no matter what they look to do now, that relationship is completely broken up. It's done. It's finished. Good night.